Brr, brr, patapim. That's who this is, by the way. I got him in Lanzarote in a little mystery bag of brain
Hmm.
rot totems. Brr, brr, patapim.
It's a strong start. It's a strong start to
Yeah,
episode
that's
28 of
you know when we see the shape of like viewer fall off.
instant tank.
IPL, IPL.
Everyone's back. Everyone's back.
I'm back in England.
We
I'm
are.
back in England
You are back in England,
with
but
my
we are still online.
yeah. Clara refuses to let me share the same breathing space as her now. So hey, no, we'll see each other in the new year.
Yeah, we
For
will.
season
See you
two,
next
guys,
year.
there aren't many episodes left in season one of You're on Screen Now, which is nuts.
There are not. Wow, guys, we made it nearly.
We did it, Joe.
Almost. We almost did it. Um, but yeah, this is You're on Screen Now, the best cricket podcast in the world. And today we are actually going to be talking about cricket. How crazy?
Diamonds in the bezel. That don't look too closely. There are no diamonds in the bezel. Yeah, there's actually a lot of cricket to talk about today because today was like the best legal selling of human beings in the world, the IPL auction.
Please, can you say that again because it tanked on my laptop?
There's a lot of cricket to talk about, right? Because today is the best legal selling of human beings in the world, the IPL auction.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Have you never thought of it like that?
No, no, I haven't.
I think it
Um,
would be enhanced if we did, much like we were selling cattle, get them up on the stage and kind of being like, look at these levers. And they'd like let people go and like have like a kind of like inspection. They'd be like, oh, just make sure you're not selling me a fast one. Apart from throw a bowler, in which
yeah,
case you'd want them to be a
I'm
fast
I'm
one.
gonna let you sit and consider what you are saying and wonder maybe if it's okay.
We shouldn't sell cricketers like cattle.
No.
We shouldn't.
Or
We shouldn't.
people in general,
Well,
quite
I,
famously.
I think I prefaced it very clearly. This was the only good time. The only good time.
The only, okay.
Selling
I
people is
think
bad.
that clears us.
Selling
Yeah.
people sucks. The IPL auction, on the other hand, I love it because you would
I'm
think,
so glad we're not
right?
big enough to need lawyers
Hey, don't worry, don't worry. Everything is just we're
yet.
actually playing. We're just playing characters. That's this. We're actually
Yeah.
that's what Lorraine Kelly says to pay less tax. I'm actually just playing a character called Dan Booth.
Yeah.
I just
She
happen
doesn't
to be
even do her own telly show.
barely shows up.
She
She's
gets
the
someone else to do it every time.
she's the nah, that's too mean. I was gonna throw a load of
Okay.
cricketers under the bus and be like the XYZ of but like look, at least they're scared of stress fractures.
Yeah. Lorraine Kelly would have a hard job getting a stress fracture from not presenting her self-titled show.
Do you ever find it funny when like non-sporting people get injuries that you solely associate with athletes?
Yeah.
Like
I can't
I
think of a single time that's happened, but sure.
2 weeks
Go
ago I
on.
saw I saw on Instagram that someone had got a stress fracture in their back. And I look,
From
it's not
what?
I don't know. It was someone I like went to school with, so still followed on Instagram, but like we're not.
And they
We
posted about having a stress
they
fracture.
posted their X-ray
Okay.
for like the people they know that care but aren't on their close friend story, which I don't fall into, but I'm still on their main Instagram story. But anyway,
Okay.
I
I
saw
see.
it
Yeah.
and it's like 95 mile an hour bowling guy. Like you can't be a normal person, normal bloke getting a stress fracture in your back because it just makes me think you've been like bending your back at the gabber a bit too hard. You've pushed for a few overs too many, and now you're out for, a few months. You can't be a normal person. It's like when normal people
Yeah.
get like it's like when someone walking down the street twists their knee and gets an ACL injury. Like, grow up.
People are fragile. I did my first aid course last week, and that's what I learned. People are fragile.
Can you tell us more? Are you the first aider of the podcast now?
Yeah, we
If
should get a
I
certificate and a defibrillator.
If I tell you I feel dizzy, what would you do?
Well, I learned how to when someone's unconscious, so I would have to wait for you to completely be unconscious before I could help you.
How do you ask?
Unless you were choking, in which case I would be able to tell you how to stop choking via Zoom
Would I
should you
have to?
require it.
Yeah, that I was gonna say. But if I was talking, I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't be choking that bad.
No, but you can hand signal if you were.
The signal for new gloves when they go.
Exactly, exactly,
I
exactly. But
what
if you were to pass out on screen,
now?
you would not be on screen now. And I would just call the emergency services because that's what their job is.
What's your
Um,
favorite like cricket cryptic but not cryptic hand gesture? Like when they're waving to the bench, and I always like gloves as
yeah.
like
Oh
like
God,
pincers, like Mr. Krabs. Pa, 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 pa.
that that's so bold of you to assume that I've ever noticed any. Um, I
Oh, I'm
think I
not.
quite
I
like when
nearly did the
they go
drinks
like,
one. Yeah,
oh, you know, I
there's
like
just a lot of
that.
pointing and a lot of like they do a lot of drinks
Yeah.
motions, which I'm not going to do because the internet's the internet. Like
Yeah, you might get AI generated Dan Booth inappropriate PG plus 13 content.
yeah, we're not doing that.
No, please don't do that of us. Please.
Apart from the selling people aspect, I do think the
Oh,
IPL
Jesus.
auction is like quite an interesting insight into like human psychology. Because I think like one of most things are one of three things, right?
Go on.
Most things are one of three things. That's probably true of like anthropology, isn't it? They probably say that when they study people. They're like, there are like three things that happen. One is it's a flex, right? Obviously, you've noticed my new timepiece. So like the Rolex came through. Thanks guys. Thanks to the listeners. You paid for this.
Thank you so much for
Don't
our Rolex
don't
sponsor. Thank you,
yeah,
thank you,
obviously
thank you,
you can
thank you,
tell
thank you.
the rollie on my wrist, we're not going to look at the timepiece. Mainly because I don't want to dox what time we're doing this at.
No.
Anyway, number one is a flex. Like Cam Green's day going for like essentially 4 million US dollars. They just said, we've got money. We've got so much money to burn. Take it, big tall
So
Australian.
he's getting paid $4 million
So
to
here's
play
it.
in the
Wow,
IPL.
there's a technicality.
Okay,
I'm
please fill me in.
I'm gonna give you the good stuff here.
Okay.
They introduced a rule in the last year where the maximum amount that a player can take away is capped at
Hmm.
like at 18 crore because of a figure set by what the kind of
Okay.
highest retained price of an Indian player was. Basically, and this isn't very scientific, they don't want it to be a market where overseas players can just sign up for like one mini auction where there's like loads of demand and not very much supply, get loads of money, and they run away with
Okay.
loads of money for not having done as much. And they basically don't want overseas players to get
Uh-huh.
paid more than Indian players. So they have created a system whereby
Yeah.
it caps it, and anything over that figure, which they crossed with Cam Green, and he's still going to take away millions. Don't you worry about him. Well, like 1.8 million, I think, roughly. Anything beyond that goes to the BCCI's Player Welfare Fund, which just isn't real. And I'm going to cut that bit out, otherwise the India fan black SUVs are going to pull up outside. No, I'm not actually going to cut that bit. No. Obviously, we can't prove where that money goes afterwards. It goes into the BCCI Player Welfare Fund, and what they do with it is
Okay.
nothing I will ever find out.
There's so much about that I hate.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good, does it?
No, I'm so aware that sports players have a premium price. I remember my A-level economics class where we learnt about why Premier League footballers get paid millions and nurses get paid nothing.
Yeah. Good
And I
stuff
hate
too.
that. I hate that. I just think that's wrong. So then when
Mm,
I'm seeing like, and I think I will stand atop my soapbox for
yeah, yeah, go for it. Go for
15
it.
seconds.
I know what I'm going to
I
say already.
I think the money is grotesque, like in
Yeah.
sport in general. And I think maybe that's a hot take because maybe people are going to be like, "Shut up, you don't understand." I do understand.
Yeah.
I do understand it, but I don't like it. Okay,
Yeah.
and what like over a million? No, I just I respect the craft. I respect the time that it's put in to, you know, the game. But one, like over $1 million
Yeah.
for
Two
how a
months
two
work?
months work
Yeah, it's nuts.
in any profession, in any capacity, is absolutely grotesque to me. And this is where our listeners veer off.
I like to think our listeners
But
are
I just
probably
think there are
on
so
board with
many
this.
people doing so much better stuff,
I
you
think
know?
if you listen to this, you'd probably be of the view that like it is mind blowing and moderately to severely uncomfortable thinking about how much money people get
Yeah.
paid to play sport. And it's like I
Yeah.
get that technically even the existence of something like this contributes to the forces being like, well, look how much interest there is if people will start podcasts
Yeah.
talking about. But I also do think it is like this sounds so boring. My view with athletes all the time as well, to go one step beyond that, is whenever they do something that's motivated by money. But
Mm.
they're so obviously already at a point where it's never going to be a concern. I find mind blowing.
Yeah.
And I get
Yeah.
maybe like if you're in that bubble, like there's an element of like it's about pride, I suppose. They view it as like, well, I
Yeah.
don't want to get paid less than this guy when I'm better. But like it's mental that they will like uproot their lives, make these really drastic decisions to get paid more money when they
Yeah.
already have millions. And they'll say a load of nonsense about like securing generational wealth, which they probably did like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more in the role of like Premier League footballers than cricketers. Cricket's a weird one where like some domestic cricketers don't have that much financial security, which is then even
Exactly.
crazier that in the same sport you have all this money flying around that just kind of goes to the same guys who don't need it. God, we're so insufferable.
100%. Like that. We're so, are we actually woke? This is
Yes,
awful. This is awful. This
I
is
have to
awful.
now like say the obligatory thing.
I can't bear it.
Yeah, but a nurse is never going to hit like a clutch century in an IPL do or die game at Eden Gardens. They're not doing it.
Yeah, but they might save your life because they'll be better than me at CPR. So,
Yeah, I don't know any first aid, so I'm a terrible person to have in this situation. But
exactly.
maybe the nurse would do nothing for me, but they'd put on like Joss Butler 2022 IPL orange cap highlights, and they'd know that's how I want to go.
Yes, maybe.
So number one is the flex,
So
right? They
number
just
one.
spend loads of money.
Yeah.
Number two is this weird thing where they kind of look at a guy who's been a dud at like five different places, every color of the rainbow they've worn and they've sucked it. And they think, you know what? I can fix him. I
This
can
is the
fix
time.
I can fix him is the most prevalent like sports recruitment strategy
Mm.
you'll ever see. It's just like, oh well, it can possibly be that bad for us. They can.
Are you going to name any names or are you keeping friends?
Delhi Capitals re-signed Prithvi Shaw today, who they got rid of because they thought he was rubbish. He then moped about it a bit and they've now brought him back. Well,
It's amazing what complaining will do.
yeah. But then that actually brings me into the third, which that one actually is more. It's just dudes getting back with their proverbial ex. He was there. It didn't go well. They were
Yeah.
both unhappy. What do they do a couple of years later?
Get back together.
Even right, the Cam Green one, what I loved. So
Hmm.
Mumbai had basically like no money left. They've retained a load of players, so they weren't in the market
Okay.
for like a big overhaul. They
Yeah.
still symbolically put one of the first bids in for him, and they said
Okay.
afterwards, it's like they just want him to know that he's always in their thoughts,
Okay. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
yeah, romantic, but also it's
It
like
is lovely.
it's the Jay Gatsby philosophy. Like that's their green light that they're leaving on. It's their little paddle in the air. They're saying, "Hey, if you look out
Hey,
over,
next time
if you look out over the room, I hope you see the Mumbai Indians paddle raised aloft."
and think of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty sure it's like the X is getting back together, and it's going to end
Okay.
badly because they'll be like,
Yeah.
"Wait, you have no form, you have no confidence, and I forgot that you are like severely balding." I'll never forget when he randomly just lost all his hair. It felt like in one go.
Sometimes people just get struck down by alopecia and it's not their fault.
I don't know if we can say that he has alopecia. He might just have
Well,
more.
he might do if it all fell out.
Well, let's find out. I mean, it's honestly as well, like, more power to him.
Some people just go through a lifestyle change and they shave it all off.
Jeez, you've just made me feel like a dreadful person by just kind of saying that, like,
Am I
wow.
right?
No, there's absolutely nothing to be said
Oh,
about like why he's lost his hair, but there's also no shame in it. Like, we're all going to lose our hair at some point.
no,
Like, it's
exactly. We're all
even
going to
you.
lose everything.
Nothing lasts forever, right? Life is defined by impermanence.
Exactly.
I think about
We
that a lot.
start as atoms, we return to atoms. And that, by that, I mean in the ether. Obviously,
Ashes,
we are currently
ashes to
atoms.
ashes.
Exactly.
Uh, No, everything ends eventually.
Much like relationships, our second topic of the day.
So we actually were like, hey, cricket therapy, we haven't cracked that one out in a while. Everyone seems
People
to
need
be,
help
everyone's
again.
going through it. There's a few common themes here.
It's winter, it's the winter breakup season.
Is that a thing? I thought
Might
people didn't
be.
want to dump now because they wanted Christmas presents.
Yeah, or they dump now because they don't want to get Christmas presents.
Yeah, it's one in, one out,
Mm,
isn't it, with presents?
yeah, it's a revolving door policy, etc.
Tate McRae.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
don't know the words. I don't know the words of any of our songs. There's just noise. But I enjoy the noise.
Speaks volume. Volumes.
What
I
have
don't
you
have
got for
my.
me then?
I have my. Oh, well, I wasn't sure if I was. I thought you were going first. That's how this usually works.
That is how this usually works, but I think I'm better at advice than you, so I think it makes sense if
How
you're
are
the
you
question
better at
asker.
advice than me?
Um,
In our lives,
I'm a big sister. I'm a big sister.
have I given you
Yeah.
better advice, or have you given me? I mean, I've never really asked you for advice, admittedly. I've given you great advice over the years.
Yeah, but I think theoretically I'd be better because I'm a big sister and you're a little brother.
Are you suggesting that because I am a youngest sibling, I lack the ability to fully comprehend what other people need to hear?
Existence. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying. And as an eldest daughter, I bear the weight of centuries of
No one talks about being an eldest daughter like an
issues.
eldest daughter. Oh, guys, my life is so hard. I have siblings. You have siblings? Multiple? No, you have
One, just
one.
one.
Exactly. Eldest doesn't even count unless you've got a gaggle. You're
Well,
just one
thank
of
God my
two.
parents gave up. Can you imagine how unbearable being the older sister of like seven siblings would have been?
Yeah, I do think about that sometimes. I
It's
wouldn't.
not for me.
Being the youngest of like seven would be trickier though.
No, being fifth of seven. That's so irre Who are you?
You're like you've got a whole top seven in there.
What can you do with seven people? The Von Traps. You could do a musical recreation of the Von Trapp family in The Sound of Music.
Rugby sevens,
Yeah.
yeah. Seven aside football. There's a lot of seven aside sport.
Netball team.
Netball's nonsense. Not because it's primarily played by women.
No one
I'm
was thinking that, but now you've said
You
it.
were thinking that. You were going to say, Dan, that's an inherently sexist view because predominantly women play netball, and by minimizing the importance of netball, you're minimizing the importance of women.
Well,
Or
I'm glad
something
that
like that.
something's gone through.
Yeah, it's all that wonderful advice you give. Speaking
Exactly.
of which, oh, here's a good one. This has nothing to
Oh,
do
go
with
on then.
relationships. I need
Hmm.
to know if I should have a forearm guard under or over my long sleeve shirt.
Under.
Under, yeah, hide that. You just want them to think you've got really jacked forearms like Popeye.
Yeah. Yeah. Aesthetically, so much better under.
Mm. It also, though, you have to then commit, like, you can't, even if you've got a bit of a grizzly knot going, you can't roll up your sleeves then, though, because you can't show weakness. And by that, I mean
Yeah,
show cramps.
exactly.
The
Yeah,
illusion has to be that you are completely smooth.
exactly. And then if you need to do anything, put one of those little armbands over it.
Yeah.
So then you look hard.
Well, obviously, I'm the tough guy of this pod, so
Yes.
take
Yeah.
it from me. If we had a fight on this pod, I think that we'd both lose.
Neither of us would come out of that well.
Right, 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 right. Oh, this is a bad one. This is a bad one.
Okay, I'm excited. Should I be excited? Is
This one
that
reads,
sadistic?
she left me for someone who bowls faster than me. And I'd like to package this one with,
Hmm.
I think this is there, you know, wait, where's the other one? There is another one that I think kind of goes with this. And I'm like, I have a nice in-swinger, but no girlfriend.
Okay.
It kind of sounds like these are two guys going through it, if I may.
Yeah. Okay, I think for the she left me for someone who bowls faster.
They're both faster.
I'd like to know, yeah, is it because you bowl slow? If so, that's fixable. Just get in the net, put your hours in, work on your action and your speed, velocity, like transfer of momentum, etc. You can fix that.
Whoa,
But if
GCSE
he
physics over
bowls
here.
faster, don't don't worry about me. If he bowls faster and he's like nicer, funnier, more attentive, all around better, then the issue's probably not the bowling, you know?
Mm. It's good that the other guy's got a nice
Not that
in-swinger
I'd ever
though.
advocate for comparison, you
No,
know.
it's a thief of
Comparison
joy.
is the thief of joy, etc. But sometimes it's worth taking a little look at whether you could actually just, you know, new year, new you, perhaps.
Mm.
Is that good advice? Completely change who you are.
Do you remember when you said that you give better advice than me?
No. When
Hey,
did I
do you
ever
know
say
what?
that?
Believe in yourself. Also, just like, I don't know, do what all normal people do and just like start making videos about cricket.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that it's good
No,
that
but
that.
seriously, love yourself.
Yeah, love yourself. No, I think it's good though that the other guy's got a good in-swinger. That they're pretty hard to get
Yeah,
down. Like, it feels like he's actually
they
flex.
are,
It
but
feels like
I'm
he's
not
flexing
sure.
here.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe if they want us to expose him, we can say this guy is single and he's got a good in-swinger. I'm not sure that's number one on my list of things I'm looking for in a life partner.
Wobble seam.
Sure. Yeah, maybe something a bit more exciting. Like, you know? No, wobble seam counts as more exciting than an in-swinger.
Do you think wobble seems more exciting than swing?
Yeah, because you don't know what you're going to get.
Exactly.
That's more exciting.
It's not more exciting
Maybe
because
that's toxic.
anyone can do it. Anyone can
People
wobble.
actually
You
value
can't swing.
consistency and dependency, you know? So maybe actually an in-swinger is a good sign
Yeah.
of a God-fearing, valiant man.
Chat like this is why England retired Jimmy Anderson. That's how we've got into this predicament.
Hmm.
Hit me with a question. Hit me with a question. I feel I'm in my therapy bag. I mean, also, can I get something off my chest? I'm going to get something off my chest. I noticed that,
Okay, yeah. Welcome to the
hey,
salon.
when we did this, right, when we did this, I noticed at first
Hmm.
from our Yossen heads, our You're On Screen Now heads on the official You're On Screen Now Instagram, there was a pretty slow uptake at first. And like, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. I'm talking to you. If you follow this
Oh God, you're
podcast,
about to get
you're
schooled.
friends with like one of us. Realistically, you've probably been to like actual therapy. Like, I get it. Like, oh, I've done CBT.
Yeah,
We've all done CBT. Lay bare your problems and we will fix them. You need to trust us. You need to trust us because,
yeah,
it's a hard world out there. And they always say that a problem shared is a problem halved. So you're lurking, right? You're all lurking. Just, open your heart. Open your heart. I'm done. I'm done. I just had to get that off of my
yeah.
chest.
Also, if it's a problem shared with us, is then a problem halved? Imagine how much smaller the problem would be when we share it with all of our listeners.
Also, if it's
The
a
problem
problem,
would basically disappear.
if it's if a problem's shared with us, is
Hmm.
it halved when it goes to you and then halved when it goes to me? Or are we ineffective to a point where it only cumulatively halves the problem by sharing it with both of us?
I think technically, proverbially, it's option two.
Ooh,
But for the purposes of selling our podcast, it's option one, whereby problem gets shared, halved between us, and then every time we then share it, it gets halved again and again and again and again. You know, like when you have an asymptote on a graph.
yes.
So the problem will never become zero, but it will get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller to infinity.
Yeah, but at that point you call it zero. Mm.
So, yeah. In essence, people should trust us. We have had one on the pod that said, I physically cannot reduce my screen time. If you're looking to reduce your screen time, you need to get rid of the whole thing because then that's the only way you can guaranteed not go on your phone is to not have one,
So throw your
right?
phone
It's the same
away.
principle. Yeah. You know, like when, people just want to stop eating biscuits and then instead of buying the biscuits, they just don't buy any, so they don't have any in the cupboard. If you don't
Yeah.
own a phone, then your screen time is reduced. However, obviously, then we would lose a listener, which doesn't really work well for us. So, therefore,
Mm.
probably want to keep your phone, delete everything else apart from wherever you interact with us on,
Yeah.
and then sort of just like have a stronger will.
You're just basically telling everyone to get a grip, aren't you? Your advice boils down to like, just toughen up. Just be a bit tougher.
Just do better. No, but seriously, I have time limits on all of my apps that kick in after a certain point of the day,
Yeah, and
and also a certain amount of time on the app.
I've also seen how effective they are when you always press the thing to override it.
15 more minutes, 15 more minutes, 15 more minutes, 15 more minutes.
I don't lie to myself. I just accept that I'll look at what I look at in a day. And you know what? I'm at peace with who I am.
And is everyone else at peace with who you are?
They have to be.
Hmm. It is a choice. But my actual advice would be to just consciously, every time you pick up your phone, say out loud the reason for picking up your phone. And if it's not a good enough reason, then you have to put it down. Because then
Interesting.
you will train your brain into noticing when you pick it up, because so much of it is habit, right?
Mm.
I must pick up my phone 500 times a day. It's probably disgusting. And then I will automatically go on Instagram. I will automatically go on TikTok. So I don't actually follow this advice, but I've seen it on the internet, so it might be worth a try.
Yeah, the best advice given is always the one that you can't yourself commit to. Speaking of which,
Exactly.
great one, quick fire. I'm in two minds about going for promotion to a spoons
Okay.
manager. Low wage, but hours. Wait, what is that? I think basically low wage, but hours good. Weatherspoon's managerial role. It's good to have fans in influential roles because that would mean there'd be a Weatherspoons we could go to.
Yeah. I was going to say, which spoons is that? And is it local to us?
Yeah, drop the pin.
Yeah.
I d
Um, I think it depends on values, right? Do you value financial gain or do you value work-life balance?
Yeah, time is money, I believe Pitbull once said.
Yeah,
Only
as
difference
the
is
great
I
man once
own it.
said.
He said that. Only difference is I own it. We obviously don't
Yeah.
own time. We're
No.
mere passengers on the passage of time, I suppose.
How poetic and beautiful.
Thank you. Still going.
You're welcome.
I think with something like this, look, if you're in the position where you're like, it would be something to do and it keeps me busy, yeah, absolutely do it. If it's at a point where like working the time would actually just suck, you don't really want to do it, but you're like, oh well, I could do it, then don't do it. Do it because you want to. If you want to do it, great. Go on. I'll take three of the like Blue Lagoon pictures. If you don't actually want to do it, then don't do it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah. I would always go for heart. Oh, would I? Would I always go for heart overhead?
I think he opened,
My heart is money orientated, so probably yes.
yeah. I think head's going to open again in Adelaide, so I think the selectors are backing him for
Just,
another test.
I just need a deep breath.
I've
Um,
I've also, apart from relationship advice, where basically everyone is kind of saying either they don't want me or they left me. In which case, look, if they don't want you, you don't want them either. That's like rule number one. The other thing I've got is just you may have heard about the England men's test cricket team.
I know
Currently,
a little bit about
get
them.
get this, they are currently
Hmm.
in Australia,
Yes.
and things haven't been going too well.
Oh, that's sad.
Can I say what I did enjoy this week?
Yeah.
Seeing the words Ben Stokes has asked England to have a bit more dog in them. When you get to the realm of having to seriously be like, we just don't have the dog in us,
Yeah.
that might be when it's too late. That might be when it's too late.
Yeah.
I also just
Have you
think,
seen that? Go on.
I think the dog in question in some of these England players might not be a German Shepherd.
No, I was thinking like cockapoo,
Yeah,
chihuahua.
cockapoo. Handbag dog.
Yeah, like pure breed costs about
Oh,
four
yeah, yeah,
grand for
classy.
a puppy.
Have I
Yeah.
clicked record? Have I?
Yeah.
Am I recording? Yes, it says I am recording. Yeah. Anyway, you said, have I seen?
Yeah. Have you seen that clip from First Dates where there's an older man and an older woman on a date and the guy goes, I've got a new cologne on. Would you like to smell it? It's called Dog. And the woman goes, oh, go on then. So she leans across the table, and as the man's mouth is next to the woman's ear, he goes, "Ruff." And that's literally immediately where my brain went when you said Ben Stokes told the England team that they needed more dog in them.
I have a question. I have a
And which
question.
England player do you think would have the best bark?
No way. That is what I was about to ask you. I was about to say, who do you think would
Oh
bark
my
like
God, we're so telepathically connected. Wow, bestie, bestie.
twin? Bryden Cast. Bryden Cast can bark for me.
He does look sort of like he would have a good growl.
Yeah. Let's top. Crawley's not a barker. Like Duckett's not a barker. Pope's not a
Mm.
barker. Root's not a barker. Brooke, I don't actually think would bark that well. Maybe more Brooke than the others I've named so far.
Yeah,
Don't think. Do you think Stokes himself would have a good bark?
I think so. If he like had to whip one out.
I think he'd bark by example, and I think that's all we really need him to do here.
Yeah. Um,
Not
so yeah,
Gus.
there's a little team building exercise for
I
them
think
to have a go at.
I don't think it'd be Gus because when Gus runs into bowl, he has a kind of like mischievous creep that he does as his run up that I just think I couldn't imagine him barking loudly. I don't know, something about like his hands where he looks like he's
He's
going,
more like a cat.
yes, yes. I think he sometimes has
Mm.
mouse-like features.
Yeah, he kind of does.
They're like,
House mouse.
just a little guy, just a little guy. Maybe that's what we should do. Like the Ashes should just be a bark off. But
It would
then,
probably
like,
be better.
I think Travis Head would do the best dog impersonation of anyone on either team. I could just see him rolling around on the floor in a way that I'm not sure other players would commit to the art. I nearly said of,
We need to really hope that this podcast goes global enough to make us like a decent whack. but not global enough that players ever listen to it. Because if you ever meet Travis Head and he goes, "Oh, you're the one that said I would have the best dog impression rolling around on the floor,"
I'd have to live with it.
I'm not really sure where that gets us. Yeah.
I'd just have to live with
And
it.
let this be a reminder to everyone that digital footprints do, in fact, exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
Yeah.
compliment, really, isn't it? I'm saying he's the most method of all of them.
Yeah. I saw a thing the other day about how method acting is more of a male thing than a woman thing, which we don't have to get into now, but I thought
Kristen
that was
Stewart
quite
said it,
interesting.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. People just method acting is one of those things that people just become really, really annoying about, and they just do it solely to act a bit mental when they could
Yeah. Like,
just
do you
act,
need to do that?
just act.
Just like be good at what you do, just turn it
Yeah.
on like everyone else.
What
Um,
if, right?
yeah, and on that note, oh, go on.
Right. Method acting. You get these
Okay.
guys and they're like, I'm going to spend 2 years living as a monk, doing
Yeah.
everything they would do so I can play one. What if for the Ashes, the movie, the rom-com,
Hmm.
we solely went method with the cricket actors, therefore taking a crop of young English men and saying, you need to method act as a cricketer. I've just solved our
Yeah.
selection problems. Oh, not enough people play cricket. Yeah,
But
well,
also, if they were a triple threat, then that would be ideal for our film.
exactly. Could you imagine the promo? We'd only have to
Batter,
pay them
bowler,
what?
and fielder.
We'd only have to
Ha
pay
ha.
them one
Ha
flat
ha.
fee. Ha ha
Ha ha.
ha
Ha.
ha. More food for thought.
Yeah.
God, the amount of food for thought in this episode.
We've been
Um,
dining.
my bowl is
Yeah.
full.
Much like a dog that's been waiting for its dinner.
Yes. Much not like a cricketer pretending to be a dog.
No. Hey, send this podcast to a friend that you think would be good at method acting like a dog.
I think if we don't end it at this point, there is no better point to end it.
Please make it stop.
Thanks, guys. Hey, guess what?
We will
Next
see you
week.
next week.
Next week is Christmas Eve.
Is it?
Yeah.
You lie. Is it?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God. Where
Yeah.
has the year gone?
Oh, I remember when our episodes are in single digits.
Yeah, that was a while ago now. We're coming up to 30.
Unk,
Ugh.
unk, unk,
Our
unk.
podcast is so unk. Have I used that right?
Yeah, but when we go to season two, we can do like 2.1, 2.2.
Okay, yeah.
Unless we want to get into the realm of like episode 87.
No, I kind of want to know when we hit 1,000.
Food for
Ooh,
thought.
1,000th episode.
But then a season's meaningless. Do we even need a second season if it's all just one long?
I think for the Spotify archives, it needs to be logged as a season, but we don't need to publicize it being a season.
Really? Man.
Are
Welcome
we
to.
are we talking between us or with
Oh
friends?
no, no, with friends. We're in there. We're
With
welcoming them
friends.
into the
Okay.
writers' room now.
Okay, yeah. Look, if you've made it this far, I think you get a say. Like that's just how this works. This is
Yeah.
reciprocal.
Do you want season two officially in the title, or do you just want the numbers to keep running? Also, I suppose like cricket milestone wise, reaching 100 is probably a better bit.
Yeah.
So how fitting
Yeah.
would it be to be English people with a podcast and we get a good 30 in and then we just start again.
And sack it off. Yeah.
Yeah, not to get
Yeah.
political.
Look, let us know in the comments. I want the numbers to rack up. So if you're on my side, go, wow, Clara is the best person ever, and everyone should get her loads of Christmas presents. I don't know where that's gone. Wow. Maybe I should have just asked my mum for that.
Yeah. I
or
nothing I
Santa.
this podcast still believes.
This podcast, what?
Still believes. We still believe
Still
in.
believes. Yeah. Miracles.
Bye guys.
Let's turn it off now.
Yeah, cut this, cut, cut, cut.